What if I told you there's a psychological trick so powerful it can make smart, confident people doubt their own memory, emotions, and sanity, and they don't even realize it's happening? Pause. This isn't manipulation like shouting or threats. It's quieter, slower, and way more dangerous. It's called gaslighting. And here's the crazy part. Once you understand how it works, it almost completely loses its power over you. In this video, I'm breaking down the real science behind gaslighting, how it rewires your brain, and the exact steps to protect yourself before serious damage is done. By the end, you'll spot gaslighting in seconds, at work, in relationships, even online. Smash like if you're ready to take your power back. But first, let me show you how gaslighting actually starts, because it's not how most people think. Most people think gaslighting is lying. It's not. It's repetition. It works by slowly attacking your trust in your own perception. Psychologists call this epistemic erosion. Basically, your brain stops trusting itself. A gaslighter doesn't say one big lie. They say small contradictions over and over. I never said that. You're imagining things. You're too sensitive. Pause. Your brain hates uncertainty, so it looks for relief. And the easiest relief is believing them instead of yourself. That's why gaslighting works better on thoughtful, empathetic people. They reflect more. Over time, you start checking with them before trusting your own feelings. That's not weakness. That's conditioning. And here's the scary part. This same technique is used in cults, interrogations, and abusive systems. But wait until you hear what happens inside your brain next. Here's the brain science they don't tell you. When gaslighting is repeated, your stress system activates. Cortisol goes up. Memory recall goes down. That's proven. Under stress, your brain becomes less confident in details and more dependent on external validation. That's when the gaslighter steps in as the authority. They don't need to prove anything. You do. Pause. This flips the power dynamic completely. You explain. They dismiss. You doubt. They stay calm. And calm looks like confidence, even when it's fake. Studies show people are more likely to believe someone who appears emotionally regulated, even if they're wrong. That's why gaslighters often seem relaxed while you feel confused. But the real trap isn't the lies. It's what gaslighting makes you do to yourself next. Once gaslighting takes hold, you start self-gaslighting. This is where it gets dangerous. You replay conversations. You edit your emotions. You tell yourself, maybe I overreacted. Maybe I'm the problem. Pause. That inner voice slowly replaces your instincts. And now the gaslighter barely has to try. You're doing the work for them. This is why people stay stuck for years without realizing what's happening. From the outside, everything looks normal. On the inside, you feel smaller, quieter, unsure. And here's the twist. This doesn't just happen in relationships. It happens in workplaces, families, and even on social media. Ignore it long enough, and the consequences get brutal. Let me show you the worst case scenario if you don't stop this in time. Worst case, you lose your identity. I'm not exaggerating. Long-term gaslighting has been linked to anxiety disorders, depression, and symptoms similar to PTSD. Some people report feeling detached from reality itself. They stop trusting their decisions. They stay in bad situations because leaving feels more dangerous than staying. Pause. I've seen people apologize for things they never did. I've seen confident leaders become silent. And the scariest part, gaslighters often escalate when they sense you slipping away. More denial, more blame, more confusion. This is where people say, I don't even know who I am anymore. But here's the good news. This damage is reversible. And the first step to breaking free is surprisingly simple, but almost nobody does it. Step 1 is externalizing reality. Gaslighting only works in isolation. The moment you document things, its power drops. Write down conversations. Save messages. Keep notes, not to prove them wrong, but to anchor yourself. Pause. Your brain needs evidence when emotions are under attack. Therapists recommend this because memory becomes unreliable under stress. Seeing facts on paper restores confidence fast. Step 2 is pattern recognition. Stop judging individual moments. Look for repetition. Confusion after every interaction is a pattern. Guilt after every boundary is a pattern. Once you see patterns, clarity hits hard. But awareness alone isn't enough. The next step is where most people get it wrong. Here's the mistake. Confronting the gaslighter emotionally. That usually backfires. Gaslighters thrive on reaction. The real weapon is consistency. Calm statements. Repeated boundaries. No debates. That's not my experience. I remember it differently. Pause. And then stop explaining. This retrains the dynamic. Research shows manipulative behavior weakens when it stops producing emotional payoff. You're not trying to win an argument. You're protecting your nervous system. This feels uncomfortable at first because you're breaking conditioning. But once you do this consistently, something powerful happens. The fog starts lifting. And what comes next is the turning point most people never reach. The turning point is rebuilding self-trust. Start with small decisions. Trust your preferences, your discomfort, your no. Gaslighting collapses when you stop outsourcing your reality. Pause. Therapy helps. So does honest feedback from people who don't benefit from controlling you. Over time, your confidence returns, not loud confidence, but grounded confidence, the kind that doesn't need approval. And here's the wild part. Once you regain this, gaslighters often either change or disappear. They lose access. But there's one advanced technique that speeds this up dramatically, and almost nobody talks about it. The advanced move is emotional neutrality, not coldness. Neutrality. You respond without charge. Short answers. No defensiveness. This is called gray rocking, and it's backed by behavioral psychology. Manipulation needs engagement to survive. Remove it, and the system collapses. Pause. Combine this with documentation and consistency, and you become almost impossible to gaslight. The power shifts quietly, but completely. And now, let's bring this full circle, because the real goal isn't just avoiding gaslighting, it's becoming the kind of person it never works on again. Remember the beginning? Gaslighting only works when you doubt yourself. The real win isn't exposing manipulators. It's trusting your perception again. When you honor patterns, protect boundaries, and stay consistent, your clarity becomes untouchable. Pause. You don't need to convince anyone. You just need to stop participating. If this video helped you name something you felt but couldn't explain, comment your #1 takeaway below. Subscribe for more psychology that actually protects you. And watch the next video on screen, because once you see manipulation clearly, you start seeing it everywhere.